Welcome to the Creating Powerful Impact podcast, where we look at behind the scenes of why and how leaders are making an impact and how you can too. I'm Shay Wheat, the founder and CEO of Grace and Ease Productions and the host of Creating Powerful Impact podcast. We support 6, 7, and 8-figure speakers, coaches, and expert thought leaders in creating powerful and profitable live and virtual live events. Our clients have made over $25 million in revenue, gained over 3,700 new clients, and changed the lives of over 29,000 attendees with events as few as 50 people and over 4,000 in attendance. So stick around to the end of the show where we'll reveal how you can be a next guest in just 15 to 20 minutes. Welcome to another episode of Creating Impact. Today, I have the amazing Brittney Canter-Barbe, who is a previous C-suite executive who left her very cushy $500,000 career to launch a company that emboldens women to claim their power in the workplace, at home, and in every aspect of their lives. Brittney definitely knows firsthand what it feels like to be excluded from the boys' club and to be made feel like she's not worthy of more power because she's a woman. But today she's here to make a difference in the lives of women who are ready to take back their power and shine their light in the world by offering no fluff coaching. I'm appreciative of that. Consulting for trailblazing women who know there must be a faster way to the top. Please help me welcome to the stage, Brittney. Hi, Brittney.
Hello, Shay. So grateful to be here and hang out with you today.
I'm so excited. We've had a couple of conversations even before now. So I'm very excited to talk a little bit about women coming back and claiming back her PowHER, which is not power, but it's PowHER, POWHER. So I definitely want to talk about that. I want to talk about, transforming toxic workplace cultures, a couple of other things. But before we get started, is there anything that you would like to say in addition to who you are, what you're about, and how you are creating powerful impact in the world?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously I'm Brittney. I'm an executive coach. I'm a consultant. I'm a keynote speaker. And basically I use my 16 years of throwing every dart, making every mistake possible in the corporate world and those very hard learned lessons. And I developed a way for women don't have to go down that same road that I did and help them build careers that bring them joy, meaning, and a lot more money than we ever thought possible on their own terms. And so tried and true, so excited to be able to share all of my mishaps with the world.
Well, honestly, I kind of like learning from people's mishaps because that means I don't have to go through it. And I think that's a part of the podcast here is pulling back the curtain, right? And taking a look at the mishaps and you going, okay, so I went this way, probably shouldn't do that. Instead, I course corrected, went this way. And instead of doing that, just go straight this direction. So I love that you're all about that as well. So as we dive in here, tell me a little bit about what is claiming your PowHER? What is that?
Yeah, Shay, I know, so many women listening or watching this really have been told really from the beginning of time, in many ways, there's something wrong with us. I don't know about you, but I can remember as early as childhood, right? These subliminal messages, sometimes very direct messages, that there's something about us we need to change. And then all of us, we go into corporate jobs, very traditional, or we start businesses even, and we are just dragging along all of this very watered down, filtered down version of ourselves, which is causing us go down the rabbit hole of imposter syndrome, feeling burnt out, second guessing every damn decision that we make. And so for me, I lived that firsthand and legit had a mental nervous breakdown in corporate. And so I went out after that. I hired every Reiki healer, everything you could think of, hypnosis therapy. I've done it. And what I really discovered was all of that. The really underlying thing for me was I was not living as myself. I was living as this version society wanted me to be. And I was screaming to get out. So it seems really simple, but it's the hardest fucking thing for people to do, especially as women, is reclaim who we are. That is our power, by realizing there's absolutely nothing wrong with us and nothing we need to change.
Yeah. Gosh, that is so true on so many levels. Probably, did I tell you before that I'm actually a Reiki master? Did I tell you
No.
that?
Yay!
I know, right? Crazy, huh? But I mean, even for myself, it was a little bit of looking for, finding myself again and having my voice in a different manner. And even still today, of having that quote unquote like woo woo part of me is a part of me, and claiming that as it's okay. It's not also a dirty word. It's part of my power, right? I think that, especially, I don't know, you tell me, in corporate, I was only in corporate a little bit, and then I went straight into entrepreneurship because I was like, I can't hang. I gotta do something else. But in corporate specifically, is this a big thing? I would assume it's a big thing that that women tend to go, okay, well, this is the route that's always been taken, and I have to be more like this in order to climb the ladder, so to speak.
Absolutely. And I think this is by design. I don't necessarily feel it's intentional. So if you think back, even as little as 10 years ago, the corporate workplace was designed by men for men, and very traditionally white, cisgender, straight men that have full-time stay-at-home partners running their entire lives. Right. So they design the system, and understandably, but then as women, we come into the workforce, we're legitimately making history, whether we like that or not, as starting our own businesses or in corporate, and we're attempting to climb the ladder on their terms, and it's just not working. Yeah. And so this is huge. It's rampant. We even saw during COVID, women are leaving the workplace in droves, which means less money in their pockets, i.e. less power in this world.
So, okay, ladies are listening to this right now and they're like, yes, I get it. I'm totally resonating with you right now. I don't know where to start. Like, where do I start going? What do I start looking at? What is the next best step? What do I do now, Brittney?
Oh, yeah. And it's like, analysis paralysis. Right. Because everything that we've been fed as women says, suck it up. You should do better. Why are you not kicking ass at work and being, this 5-star mother at home and never yelling at your kids and only eating healthy meals, all that shit, that's not possible. Right. And what I encourage every single woman to do, and every single client that comes into my programs, the very first thing we do is I have her sit down and I say, I want you to write out your dream life. I don't want you to think about money. I don't want you to think about what everyone told you should do growing up. What makes your heart sing? And this is a really challenging exercise. It typically takes, a couple weeks of even revisiting that. But once that's solid and we start really peeling back this layers and really observing how we've allowed society to dictate who the hell we are, and she really defines what her North Star is, she is unstoppable. It's kind of like when you do peek behind the curtain for this first time, or you first see yourself in a different way, there's no looking back.
Yeah. I mean, and I would assume that as that you're doing that exercise, do you get women that are like, don't know where to start? Like, mind is completely blank.
Almost every single time. And then they start beating themselves up and immediately have that knee-jerk reaction. Oh, there's something wrong with me. I can't even do this.
Right. Yeah.
Which just furthers that limiting, damaging beliefs. And I tell her, it's like, lady, the first time you rode a bike, you look like an asshole because you didn't know what you were doing. Right. This is going to feel like really overwhelming and you don't know how to do it. Like anything, it takes practice, and every single one of us that set out to do something, we sucked at it the first time we tried.
And I think it's more than just like, you can't just read a book, right? Like you can't just watch a video and be like, oh, okay, great. Here, I now know what my dream is that I haven't been thought about at all. It takes probably a lot of support from someone like yourself that's like, okay, great. That's the first layer. Now take the kids out of it, take the business out of it, take all of this out of it. Now do it again. Now do it again and get deeper and deeper, right?
Oh, 100,000%. And, and much like the way you do, Shay, with the clients that come on board and you're producing amazing events and it's their brand on stage for the entire internet and the entire world to like or comment fearlessly in the comment section. And so, the emotional resilience that they need to be able to pull something like that off. And we're never going to have that if they're not laser clarity around who the hell they are and what kind of impact they want to make in the world.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so now we've kind of like gone through and we're really taking a look at what is our dream and what is our passion and what is our North Star. Now we go back into the workplace that's probably a bit toxic. The culture, it's just been there, right? How do we start to transform that workspace that workplace and a culture that's just been ingrained for a long time?
Yeah, that's a really big challenge. And the advice that I give when it comes to that is not always the most popular, but it's true. The chances are you can't. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. This is one more way society has taught women that we need to fix everyone and everything, right? If they just like us enough, or if our message is just compelling enough, that's bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. Why would you spend 50, 60, 70 hours a week, in this very traditional environment that is thinking 5, 6, 7 decades ago, how to do business, how to treat people? You're never going to get them there, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's embracing that and not seeing that as, oh, you failed. Absolutely not. You cannot explain something in her mind that is just like, oh, we should just pay people fairly. We should care about people. We should make sure we have hybrid work environments, right? When they are like so far down. So if you want to spend the next 10 years doing that, make sure you at least have a piece of the company, right? To fuel you. But most of the time you can't. You go out there, if it doesn't fit into that exercise of your North Star, spend no more effort on it, move on, and your North Star is out there.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so that's like, okay, we now know our North Star. We know if it's a good fit. Let's say it is a good fit. And we're ready to have that quote unquote seat at the table. But with a twist. You talk a little bit about how somebody would possibly go about blowing up the traditional seat at the table.
Yeah, no, this is something that I struggled with for a long time because it was stupid simple and I'm a human being. So I wanted to overcomplicate it every time.
Wait, say that again.
It's louder for those in the back. This is so stupid simple that because you're a human, you will overcomplicate this. Anytime that you are trying to bring about any kind of change and you're trying to have your voice be heard, you automatically feel it's being subjective, especially as women. Oh, I'm being arrogant. I'm being cocky, because I've been taught to not talk about how amazing I am, even though I am absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. And what strategy that I give is I have every single woman that is in the traditional corporate role, or even women that are trying to build, exit corporate, and they're just have this baby idea like I had barely 6 months ago, I actually walked away, is that you determine what are the top 3 things that drive business, the top 3 KPIs in the organization, the top 3 things you need to concentrate on as you build out a business. And if anything that is being said, any initiative, anything you're being asked to do does not help you do those, it's a big fat no. Mm. So it's much less about, read this personal development book and implement these strategies. Absolutely not. You need something that's extremely objective and actually has nothing to do with you, quote unquote, you, to start practicing this new skill. Because then everything else just falls into place. You build the confidence, you build the EQ, you build the, hey, I'm not an imposter. I deserve to sit here just like everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Well, if anything, you're probably going to bring a new perspective that's actually going to take the company in a better direction than it's been trying to go for the last 10 years. But that's the only way that we've ever done it. So why would you do it any different? Well, you're getting the same results, if not less. Maybe that's why. Just saying, right? Let's just be open, shall we? I love that. So, okay, you mentioned and we talked a little bit about how you really did leave your really cushy $500,000 career to launch this company and really support women claiming their power back, whether it's in the workplace, at home, or any aspect of their lives. So for the listeners that are either one, looking to do that themselves, two, have already made the jump and are in it right now, I would love for you to pull a little back of the curtain to go, okay, great. Guess what? There's a couple of challenges I know for myself. I've had them since I started my company back in 2014. I continue to have them. They never go away. And that's whether you're in business or you're in a corporate job. But I would love for you to maybe share a little bit about, how it's been for you kind of stepping into this new role for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, earlier when I talked about, my mental breakdown in corporate, I knew then once I was able to discover how claiming who I was authentically actually allowed me to dominate in corporate. I could actually 13x my salary in 5 years from just that alone. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I knew then, I'm like, proof of concept. There's something, because I never knew that I was going to be a coach or a consultant, right? So then I spent the next 10 years purposefully job hopping. And I did that. I switched roles every 12 to 18 months for the next 10 years. And that way I could build teams and bring other women that didn't look like me, act like me, love like me, and see if my proof of concept would work. Because if there was anyone that could somewhat fit into the boys club as a woman, it was me. I'm very foul-mouthed, I'm very aggressive, I'm very bossy, very bitchy, all those things they told me I was. And so it was then that I finally realized that 10 years, like, I've got something here. And I think the biggest struggle for me was you go out, all of those that if you're doing it right now, you have a beautiful website, you have these social media channels, you're doing sales calls, discovery calls, and it's a honeymoon. It feels just like a honeymoon, like roses, and it's beautiful. And then reality sets in. And being an executive myself, I really underestimated the level of energy of now being a CEO, the pressure of that. And you're always on stage, which means you have to bring it every single time that you're sitting behind a camera or you're on stage, because the words you have are so powerful. And so many people, I feel, really underestimate that. Even women that step into first-time CEO roles, first-time politicians, right? Like we just saw with Jacinda Ardern, like when she signed up, she knew there was no way that she was, I'm sure had no clue how extreme it was going to be. That's what people need to talk about more, instead of start your own business. It's such a cool fad right now. Everyone's doing it. 19-year-old kids are opening their businesses. Yes, they are. But here's the reality of it.
That's crazy. I agree with you. And we get to talk about the challenges. It is not easy, right? There's a reason that businesses close before 5 years in, and the ones that make it past 5 years don't necessarily mean that they're like, rainbows and unicorns that are happening. It's a continuous thing, and moving from, at least for myself, moving from, the person that was doing all of the events and the front person and handling everything, and my eyes were on all of it, to moving into having team and growing and scaling, where your eyes aren't necessarily on everything, but have you trained the team to the point where they can, right? So there's kind of like a new mountain to climb every step of the way. And I would think that is, even if for yourself, when you were moving from job to job to job, it was a new mountain. It was a new experience. It was a new opportunity for you to gain knowledge and skill set to then take what you had, put it into this role, and then continue to grow from there, would you say?
Oh, 100%. And I had some amazing resources that I did not understand how valuable those resources were until you do it yourself. And you're like, oh, that's why that was easy. You know, I had a half
Wait,
million
that's
dollars.
why we do that? Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Exactly.
That's
Oh,
fantastic. Well, congratulations. I'm so glad that you're now supporting women from kind of all walks of life and to the next level for themselves. But I would love to hear, what is your plan for this year? Where's the direction of the company going now, and how are you supporting yourself and other women?
oh, 100%. So, I'm just now, as the baby entrepreneur that I am, I'm like just now, I'm kind of a toddler. I'm kind of can walk, but I fall over quite often. I throw tantrums when I don't get my way. And so what I've discovered this year, I'm just barely starting to scale. And so I've started building out my own team, started, hiring in a lot of folks that are smarter than me at things that I don't need to try to perfect from a weakness to a strength. And so what I see this year is one, really finding what's working and then remaining laser focused on what my hero of my story, which is every single one of my clients, what they're truly struggling with. Because I did have a very non-traditional path as a woman, right? I never had children. I moved all over the country, anytime that I could. And my career was always the number one thing. So I have to stay laser focused on what they want. And I think what I got a hard learned lesson in even earlier is remembering that every single time, just that energy of how can I make a difference in her life? And that is very challenging as a business owner. And it doesn't mean that you're selfish, or it doesn't mean that you don't care about your clients, but you got 5,000 other plates now. And I keep adding more plates and I'm running out of hands to spin them.
Wait, you don't have 8 arms and legs to spin all of the plates? What? Okay. Oh my God. Well, I mean, we can definitely continue this conversation for quite some time. Absolutely love you, your energy, and how you're creating impact in the world. But we are going to have to start wrapping up here. And I would love for you to share with us how women can stay connected to you. And I think you also have a free gift for all of us.
Oh, absolutely, Shay. Thank you for the opportunity. So just like all the listeners today that are just getting kick-ass, value out of what you're bringing each and every week that you're dropping in the episode, obviously go on over, subscribe to the Powerhouse as well. So we do the exact same thing Shay's doing, trying to create as much impact in this world by delivering every single week free content, free lessons that you can get an ROI on if you listen to. So definitely with that. And then I want to share with everyone, click in the show notes on Shay's podcast, wherever you're listening today, and you will have a link to how you can close your own gender pay gap. Because this is something I go back to constantly, whether you're a female entrepreneur, you're a woman in the traditional corporate world. If you're waiting on government and men to just do the right thing and pay us what we're worth, we're going to be holding our breath for a long time.
Yeah, well, and I love that it's for whether you're an entrepreneur or you're in corporate, because even as an entrepreneur, we have the mindset that it's like, oh, well, I can only charge this much. Somebody will only pay me this much, versus your value and your knowledge and your background and your skill and everything that you've proven, getting people crazy awesome results says differently. Right. So I love that you're offering this free gift. I'm totally excited to go look at it, because even for myself, I'm sure there's always a next level of, how do I support my own gap? Right. So I'm excited to look at that. We will link it in the show notes. So thank you so much for that lovely gift. Before I totally let you go, is there anything else that you would like to leave our audience with? Just kind of next best steps or final thoughts?
Yeah, I think the piece of advice, no matter where you're at, obviously I, geared to those that are women in the workplace, those that identify as women, is every single time you feel those intrusive thoughts, you feel that fear, you feel like, oh no, I don't know what I'm doing. And you start judging yourself against all of these people that you think have made it so much bigger than you. remember, they didn't know what the hell they were doing either. And they were just as terrified as you. Just take the leap.
Brittney, thank you so much. You're amazing. I'm glad that we were able to have you on today. I appreciate you. And until next time, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your week. Take care. Thank you so much for listening to the Creating Powerful Impact podcast. If you are a successful coach, speaker, author, or thought leader who would like to be on this program, simply visit creatingpowerfulimpact.com/guest. If you are someone who got something out of this interview, would you please do me a favor and share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on your socials. Also, if you know somebody that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Creating Powerful Impact. I love seeing all of your posts and great guest selections. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they really mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more about us? Head on over to our website, graceandeaseproductions.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. Just look for Grace and Ease Productions on your favorite platform. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.